Have you ever thought about making money while you sleep? This isn't magic, it's passive income. It's like having a machine that, after you put in the money, starts working on its own and gives you a portion back without you having to do anything. Sounds like a dream, right? But I'll tell you a secret. This dream is possible. Imagine that you have a friend who has a small store and he offers you an opportunity. You can be a partner in my store, and therefore every time I sell something, I will give you part of the money. This is what happens when you invest in dividends. Companies make money, and since you are an investor, they share a piece of the profits with you. And here comes the great opportunity. You can start investing and creating your own money machine today. But the coolest thing is that you don't need to be an expert to get started. I will show you step by step how to use investments and dividends in your favor and create a flow of money that comes automatically. So if you're ready to discover how to make your money work for you, stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you the secret to generating passive income and transform your financial life once and for all. First, what is passive income? Imagine that you have a vegetable garden in your backyard. You plant a seed, and over time, that plant starts to grow and bear fruit, even if you don't have to go there every day to take care of it. The plant will continue bearing fruit automatically without you having to do anything. Now, think that the seed and your investment and the fruits are the money you earn. That is the passive income. It's like this plant that gives you fruit without you having to work on it all the time. You plant an investment, and over time, it will give you money, almost like an allowance that comes every week or every month, but without you having to leave the house to earn it. For example, imagine that you buy a small house and rent it to someone. Every month, the person who lives there pays you an amount. This value is your fruit. You planted the little house, and now it gives you money every month. And best of all, you don't have to work all the time to do it. Passive income is just that, something you do once, and that will continue to bring you money for a long time, without you having to make much effort to maintain it. Here's another point: active income versus passive income. What's the difference? Imagine you are a superhero and you have two ways to make money. The first is the active work. This is like you have to fight villains every day, all the time, to get a reward. In other words, you only win when you are in action, actually working. If you don't fight for a while, you don't make any more money. That's the job of everyone who has a job, where you need to be there, doing your part to earn your paycheck. Now, the second way is the passive work, which is as if you were a superhero who created a machine that does the work alone. You made the machine once, and now it works for you even when you are resting. For example, you build a small toy factory, and it starts making toys every day while you sleep. Every time a toy is sold, you earn money. In other words, the work has already been done once, and the machine or your investment continues to make money without you having to work all the time. So, in summary, the difference is quite simple. Active income. This is when you need to work every day to make money. Passive income. It's when you do something once, like creating an investment or business, and it continues to make money for you, even without you putting in the effort every day. Looks cool, right? It's like having a money-making machine that you only need to set up once. Now, there is the difference between passive income and investment income. First, it's important to understand the concept of passive income. It's money you receive without having to actively work for it. In other words, after an initial effort, such as investing time, money, or work, income continues to come in without requiring constant dedication. This is common in investments, but can come from other sources, such as property rental. You buy a property and rent it. After that, you continue to earn monthly rent without frequent effort. Franchises and businesses with outsourced management. When you create or buy a franchise and hire someone to manage it, you profit without having to act directly on a day-to-day basis. Investment income is a specific type of passive income which comes from financial investments. Here the objective is to invest your money strategically to generate returns over time. Common examples. Shares. When you buy shares, you become a partner in a company. If it makes a profit, you receive dividends. Furthermore, you can sell the more expensive shares in the future. Real estate funds, FIIs, allow you to invest in real estate in an accessible way. You buy shares and receive part of the rent without having to manage the properties. FIIs usually pay monthly dividends. Savings and CDBs, safer forms of passive income where you lend money to banks or companies and receive fixed interest, usually monthly. Treasury direct. When you buy public bonds, you lend money to the government and receive periodic income. Main difference. Passive income is a broad category that includes any earnings without constant effort, such as rental properties or businesses with third-party management. Investment income is a type of passive income that comes from the use of financial capital to generate returns, with dividends, interest, or asset appreciation. Practical example. If you have an apartment rented for $1,000 a month, that is passive income. If you invest $10,000 in shares and receive $500 in dividends per year, it is also passive income, but via investments. What influences investment income? Amount invested. The more you invest, the greater the return. Rate of return depends on the type of investment. Investment time. The longer it is, the greater the effect of compound interest. Risk and return. Investments generally have lower risk and require less management, but may yield less. Business and real estate have more risk and work, but also greater potential for return. With this, it is clear that passive income can come from different sources, and income from investments is one of them. Both aim to generate money with more autonomy and less continuous effort. How to create and increase your passive income. Now that you know what the passive income and how it works, the next step is to understand how you can to create and increase yours. Here the focus is on helping you transform your money, or even your time and effort, into something that will generate more money over time without you needing to be constantly working. Step 1. Define your goal and how much you want to earn before starting. It is essential to know how much do you want to earn with your passive income. If you just want to supplement your income with a little extra money, the plan will be very different from those who want to achieve financial independence and live only on passive income. Initial goal. Let's say you want to earn $1,000 per month passively. This amount may be enough to cover some extra expenses such as leisure, travel, or even part of your rent. Bigger goal. If the goal is bigger, like living off what passive income generates, you may need a more robust plan with more investments and a long-term horizon. Step 2. Start investing smartly. Now that you have an idea of how much you want to earn, it's time to start investing. The secret is to put your money into something that generates a return over time. Here are some of the most common ways to do this. Stock investments and dividends. If you buy shares in good companies, you can start receiving dividends, which are like a portion of the company's profit that it distributes among its shareholders. This is a great example of passive income because you receive the dividends even without having to sell the shares. But of course, it requires a little knowledge about the stock market. Real estate funds, FIIs. Investing in real estate indirectly through real estate funds, FIIs, can be a very affordable way to generate passive income. You buy shares in these funds, and they distribute the profits from property rentals among investors. The best thing is that you don't need to worry about managing the property. This is done by the fund manager. Treasury Direct and CDBs. For those who prefer more security, invest in Tesoro Direto or in CBDs could be a good option. Both are investments that pay periodic interest and are generally less risky than investing in stocks. However, yields also tend to be lower. Property rental. If you have a property available or can buy one to rent, this is a direct way to generate passive income. You will receive your rent payment every month, but you need to pay attention to property management and associated costs, such as maintenance and taxes. Step 3. Increase your capital. Now that you have started investing, the focus should be increase your capital. The more money you invest, the greater your passive income in the future. But how to do this? Here are some strategies. Reinvest your earnings. If you start receiving stock dividends or property rentals, you can choose to reinvest these earnings. This means using the extra money to buy more shares or more real estate, thus increasing your passive income potential. Invest more regularly. If possible, make regular contributions. Even if you start with small amounts, adding more money to your investments over time will help accelerate the growth of your business. Passive income. Diversify your investments. For increased security and reduced risks, it is worth diversifying your investments. Instead of putting all your money into one asset, like just stocks or real estate, spread your money across different types of investments. This may include stocks, real estate funds, government bonds, and other options. Step 4. Have patience and control. Patience is essential for success in passive income, as results take time to appear, especially with smaller investments. To stay focused, it is important. Monitor investments regularly and make adjustments when necessary. Avoid withdrawing profits early so as not to compromise capital growth. Invest with discipline and consistency, even if the initial gains are small. These steps help you build a solid foundation for your passive income and grow it over time. There is no shortcut, but with dedication and strategy, you can increase the amount of money that enters your account without having to make so much effort. Practical examples show how this journey can happen. Juan, for example, started investing in shares with $5,000. After 1 year, he was already receiving $200 in dividends per month. Reinvesting this money in new shares, in 5 years, your monthly income rose to $1,000. Maria bought a property for $100,000 and rented it for $800 per month. Instead of spending on luxuries, he used the rent to pay off his financing and expand his portfolio. In 10 years, he had 3 rented properties and a passive income of $3,000 per month. When you start to understand and create your passive income, a world of possibilities opens up. It is possible to reinvent your professional life, gain more freedom, and eventually no longer depend on a fixed salary. Step 5. Discover your skills. To generate passive income, the first step is to identify your skills, such as technology, writing, or teaching, and use them to create products or services, such as ebooks, courses, blogs, or podcasts. Then it is essential to automate this process with digital tools, which allows you to earn money with less effort and more freedom. The story of Tomas illustrates this path well. He was a salesman and dreamed of more financial freedom. Upon learning about passive income, he studied it and decided to invest intelligently, starting with real estate funds, FIIs, which generate monthly income from rentals. He also learned the importance of diversification, spreading his investments between FIIs and dividend stocks. With patience, the results came, and he gained time to dedicate himself to what he enjoyed most, such as traveling and learning. Make your money work for you. Imagine that your money can grow like a little plant. You plant it, take care of it, and, over time, reap the rewards. That's the idea of passive income, making money without having to actively work for it. Instead of exchanging time for money, you make money work for you through investments, rentals, or automated trades. But how does this work in practice? You can invest in shares or FIIs, which pay part of company profits or property rents. This way, you receive periodic income without having to directly manage a property, for example. Another important strategy is to reinvest your earnings. By investing part of the income again, you increase the amount invested, which generates even more profit in the future, as if several plants grew together. Furthermore, it is essential to diversify your investments, that is, invest your money in different assets, shares, FIIs, fixed income, real estate. This reduces risks, because if one investment doesn't do well, others can compensate. Another alternative is to invest in rental properties or automated businesses which continue to generate profits without your constant presence. How to start? Set clear goals. For example, how much you want to earn per month with passive income. Start small, regularly, and take advantage of the power of compound interest. The income adds to the amount invested and generates more gains over time. With patience and discipline, this snowball effect can transform your finances. Why does all this matter? Because passive income gives you freedom. You can use your time for leisure, personal projects, or rest, without depending on a fixed salary. With financial education and good choices, anyone can build a source of income that brings peace of mind and independence in the future. Make smart decisions. The impact of choices on your future, your financial life, is like a road. Every decision you make defines the direction of your future. To ensure a safer path, it is essential to act strategically and think about the long term. Plan your expenses, avoid impulse purchases, say no to unnecessary consumption, and avoid debts that compromise your budget. Invest in financial knowledge and prioritize decisions that strengthen your foundation. With conscious choices today, you build a more stable and peaceful future. Diversify your investments. Protect your money. Think of investments like fruit in a basket. If you put everything in one and it breaks, you lose everything. But if you spread it across multiple fruits or investment types, the risk decreases. Diversifying is one of the smartest strategies for protecting your money and increasing your chances of obtaining good returns, even if not all investments perform well. How to diversify? Smartly. Invest in different assets. Combine stocks, real estate funds, fixed income, and even cryptocurrencies. Each one has different risks and behaviors. Spread your money. Avoid concentrating all your capital in a single asset. If one fails, others can maintain their profitability. Consider varying deadlines. Mix short-term and long-term investments to balance risk and liquidity. Think of diversification like putting together a football team. Each player has their role, and together they form a strong and balanced team. Likewise, a well-built portfolio can withstand bad times and make the most of good ones. Examples of diversification in practice. Actions. Invest in companies from different sectors: technology, health, energy, etc. Properties and FIIs. Combine physical properties with diversified real estate funds. Fixed income. Include public bonds or CDBs for security and stability. The great benefit of diversification is reducing risk. Even if part of your investments perform poorly, others can compensate and balance your results in the long term. Reinvestment. The power of compound interest. Now, imagine making money on top of the money you've already earned. This is what happens when you reinvest profits from your investments instead of spending. How it works. When you receive income, such as dividends, interest, or rent, you can reapply this amount to your own investments. Therefore, in the next cycle, You will earn income not only on the original value, but also on previous profits. Simple example, you invest $1,000 and receive $50 in profit. If you reinvest this amount, next month the income will be about $1,050. This effect accumulates and over time makes your money grow faster. It's called exponential growth. Why is it so powerful? At the beginning, the gains are small but constant. Over time, profits grow faster and faster, creating a snowball effect. Reinvesting consistently is one of the most effective ways to accelerate your path to financial freedom, making the most of what your investments can yield. Why is reinvestment important? Reinvesting is one of the most powerful ways to increase your wealth. Instead of withdrawing your profits, you use them to generate even more returns. This creates a cycle that helps accumulate wealth over the years. And then you saw how it is possible to generate passive income and have a more peaceful financial life. As we saw, dividends and investments, they are powerful tools that can turn your money into something that works for you, even when you're not doing anything. The secret is to start. You may not see great results at first, but over time, your investments will multiply, and you will begin to realize how this strategy will create a constant source of money. Remember, no one starts out knowing everything, and the most important thing is to take the first step. Over time, you'll learn more, adjusting your strategy and creating a future of more financial freedom and less worry. Now that you know the secret of how to generate passive income through the dividends and investments, it's time to act. Don't leave until tomorrow what you can start today. The world of investments is full of opportunities, and the best time to start is now. If you like this content, share it with those who also want to achieve financial freedom. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more tips on how to make your money work for you. Until next time.